close to not going out with this video idea. You know, sometimes in your mind tell you not to, just because, or other influences, but I'm not gonna let that get in my way. And I'm gonna talk about the Champions League semi-final second leg. Let's get right in. No, Villarreal versus Liverpool. I predicted it in my previous video, which of course I'm gonna link below and tell you to go watch. Sound crazy, I know, I haven't been feeling so well. It's in that video that Liverpool, if not the first, the second leg, they're going to bury this game and there's not going to be any hope for Villarreal. But Villarreal can walk away from this Champions League campaign and be proud of how far they've come, you know, and what they've achieved, winning the Europa League, you know, putting up a fight against Chelsea, beating all these teams to reach this far, and one of the greatest advances in their history. They can look at it and be amazed at themselves. And I saw this interview of a journalist, analyst person saying that they were a disgrace, and I'm like, they've done better than teams that you expect to win the whole thing. So I'm basically saying that it's a proud moment for them. They've reached a semi-final. That's good. So they came alive too late. I expected them to put up a fight in the first leg. It didn't happen. 2-0. You think they're out of it? No. And for a minute, they gave me hope. And I was like, can they hold on? Can they do the impossible? Can they get it done? But the moment I realized that they're playing Liverpool, I was like, they do this. Not to underestimate them, but Liverpool are, and I'll get to them in a second, but Liverpool are just too good to lose this. Unai Emery, we have to talk about him. We have to. I'm sorry. He's a good coach. And for those people who try to argue it, you're weird. He's a good coach. And he has found the perfect environment to work and try out his ideas and to not have so much demands, because of other clubs that he's been at, it's demand to win this, to win that, to do this, to do that, to accomplish this, win this much game. But here at Villarreal, they're a mid-table Spanish team. They're not in all these competitions. They're barely there in terms of what they do in the transfer market. So he has that leeway to try and to do and to experiment. And that's good for him. So I find it weird when people do mental gymnastics about, why did Arsenal fire him? And oh my God, is this the coach? No. You can admit that he's a good coach and he has ideas, and you can admit that it didn't work out at Arsenal or PSG. You can admit that it was just not the right setting for him as a coach and for them as a team. But you don't have to do this revisionism on his time. Always inserting words that I don't know how to pronounce. Don't hold that against me. But yeah, Villarreal put up a fight. They made it interesting. We all want to see this underdog story, you know, the magic of the cup thing. And it was just fun to see them and to watch them and to watch how they progressed in the competition, beating all these teams and playing fairly. It was good to see, but it was good until it wasn't. This is an album title I'm drawing from here. I like to make musical references. Don't hold it against me. On to the super team, Liverpool. As I said before, they are too good and there is no way they're going to walk away from that game with anything but a win, you know? And for a split second, I thought they were going to lose. For a split second, that's a difference. And with everything that Liverpool have going for them, they just couldn't lose. And this is so grinding my gears to say that. Yes, and I don't think I'm going to go on another rant about him. But all that's to be said in regards to this game is he's super important to this Liverpool team in this time period. He has been their focal point. He has been the diamond in the rough for them, and it has been going great. Now, my point in bringing him up is basically saying there is no way Jota should be starting important games over him. I get in the Premier League, yeah, and then you bring him on as an impact sub or whatever the case may be. But in big games like this, I don't think Diego Jota is the man. Here's why. He's like the other Portuguese in the league that we know, and I'm excluding a few because there are a few good Portuguese players. But the ones that I'm talking about are the ones that add nothing to the game for 90 minutes, run around doing crazy things, and then they score a fluke goal, and everybody's like, "Wow, player with it." No, he does not add anything in the game. He's not playmaking. He's not dropping deep. He is sometimes lost. And when he does have the ball, he's doing some crazy stuff. So I say go with Luis Diaz in the final. If you're watching this, which I know you are, because we go way back, start Luis Diaz in the final, obviously. Another topic I want to touch on, in regards to Balon d'Or and Liverpool. Now, as much as I love Mane is like one of the most likable Liverpool players I can stomach to talk about and watch. I do not think he's in the conversation about the contention of the Ballon d'Or. Don't boo me yet. He has had a great season, with Liverpool respectively and with Senegal, but he's not been he's not been what's the word I'm looking for? I have it here written down. He hasn't had great performances. That took a long time when I could have just looked at my notes. He hasn't had great performance. You can't pick out a moment and say, "Wow, man, it was amazing." You can pick out moments and said he should have done better. And in that case, I just can't have him there. Although he was amazing in this game, had a few ups and downs, had a few moments to find his rhythm, he's not. He can be in the top 5, top 10, but the win of the Ballon d'Or, I just don't think so. Sorry. Now, I'll mention some dumb facts that I don't know why we need to know this anyways, but Klopp is the second manager, to reach the Champions League, FA Cup, and League Cup final in a season. Why I say second? Because Emery did it before him, and she actually won 2 of those 3 trophies. So, yeah. Alexander-Arnold being one of the youngest right backs to play in 3 different Champions League final, and they put him up against legends of the game, and I'm like, what's the point? And to touch on Trent in this game, defensively, this is Chelsea's press conference. Defensively, he was horrible. And there are moments where, and we can have some serious conversation about Trent as a defender, and moments where he looks out of it, or he's standing, or he's not marking his man, and you probably jump and say, "Oh my God, is this the guy you guys call the best right back in the world?" He's still the second best right back. Don't get it wrong, but we can correct him as a defender in terms of his positioning. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he's good, right? Hope everybody got that. But yes, it was a good game. For a minute there, we all wanted the impossible to happen. I think we all wanted Liverpool to lose, but just 2 good super team. They're heading to Paris. They want this revenge moment. Good for them. Happy. Congrats. Versus Real Madrid. I don't think the last few minutes of this game can be explained. It can, but I want to be dramatic. I don't think there's any physician, like people who do physics, not like a doctor. And statist or analysts who can break down the moment it fell apart. They can, but again, I'm being dramatic because I love that. And this would never happen if City had buried this game in the first leg. We've seen it too many times where City should win, but they settle for a draw, or they win in comfortable fashion, but it overweighs the performance. This time around, they were not going to get away with that. They were good in the first leg. They managed to contain Madrid, managed to lock down Benzema and Vinicius from their partnership. What about the second leg? And for the first 45 minutes, I was like, yeah. And even a lot of news pages were like, City are on their way to the Champions League final. I'm like, 90 minutes haven't even gone yet. They've not technically won. They still have more to do. I think scoring 2 or 3 goals would put them ahead. they're at a 1 goal deficit with the aggregate. You get it. There's going to be some uncomfortable conversations about Pep Guardiola and these big game managements, big game moments, and the things he chooses to do. And this is a constant failure of him in the knockout round of the Champions League. It is consistent in every single. I mean, some of them you can argue bad referee decisions, luck being against them or whatever, but Pep has some dealings in it. And don't get me wrong, this is not me building an argument of Pep can't win a Champions League without Messi type of thing, or if he doesn't win it here, he's not the greatest manager. That's not what I'm trying to say, because he's still good. But I can admit to myself that he's a good coach, and also figure out his flaws, because he's not perfect and he's not gonna always get it right, and he's never gotten it right in a knockout match, and it has cost them. His substitutions didn't work. Why would you bring on these players? Now I get why a Kevin De Bruyne, a Kyle Walker injury concerns, and you don't want to run them into the ground or risk them being run into the ground, and then you have a Premier League to catch up for. You may have a penalty shootout to go into. You don't want your best players to be nowhere to be found in those moments, right? I get it. I get that Jack Grealish, who has not had an experience in this competition, is not the savior that you want to bring on. And I've said it in my Premier League video, which you should watch. Jack is an amazing player. Not world class, not the best player ever, but he's good, and we've seen it at Aston Villa. He's a bit out of his depth here technically in Manchester City, but we all know the first first season bad luck. Give him till next season, he may explode. We don't know. But in this match, he had a good game. He had a good game for some time, but he started to look like a fish out of water. Fernandinho is 37, not being ageist here, because Chelsea won a Champions League with a 37-year-old. Just had to put that in. But we've seen it this season where Fernandinho has not been his best. He's made mistakes. He has been looking a bit out of it. And that's not his fault, as again. But I'm saying, why would you put on these players, Pep? Why would you put on these substitutions? Why would you take off some of the players who are putting in the hard work? And that's where you lost the game. No. This loss was not on squad depth, like he had no one to turn to, and no. They can field to an A or B team that could obliterate the entire Champions League. They can field two powerful teams. The issue is mentality. I did not see players who wanted to fight to keep that 1 goal lead. I did not see players who wanted to make a point, who had something to play for. And this can be said in their loser mentality. Even though they won Premier Leagues and Carabao Cups, but they've not had that moment where they have to struggle for something. Because their league wins are like cruising, and they just score 100 goals and rack up all these points and do all these things. They've not had that moment where they had to pick themselves up out of a ruin and play for a reason. And that is where mentality. You cannot be 1-0 up in a Champions League, and the minute the other team equalizes, you lose your head. That you then lose 3-1, 6-5 on aggregate. There's just no way to do that. There is no way. We can blame Pep for the tactical decisions he makes, but we have to blame the players for they're the ones on the field doing all that stuff. Like, come on, get together. But yeah, they were just not hungry, and it's just not their year. And the obsession that they have with the Champions League will have to continue. Does it mean spending another $1 billion? Okay, cool, good. Real Madrid has the dog in them, and I'm gonna explore this point soon. But yeah, they have that fighter spirit in them, and that was what got them to win. Carlo Ancelotti being the only manager to win all of Europe's top 5 leagues. That is an achievement. That is a moment to talk about. Carlo, he's an amazing coach. You may not agree with his style or his optics, but he's good, and you can't deny it. Like, he's good, right? And every team he's been to, it's true. He's had some incredible wins in these separate teams. I have a connection with him through Chelsea. And he had, when he was at Chelsea, it was an amazing season. And in his first season at that, did great. Kudos to him. And even here with Real Madrid and in La Liga, they won it in a respectable fashion. And they won it in a dominating way. And you have to applaud him for that. He's good. And we've seen it so many times this season, whether it be La Liga or in the Champions League. You do not count out Real Madrid. I see people celebrating like, and I get it. It was the 85th, 87th minute, 60th, whatever the case may be, and they're like, yeah, City are through. But you can't do that until this is the Champions League we're talking about. It's never over until it's over. And the players, they know how to get a win. They know how to fight. We've seen it in 3 consecutive knockout matches this season. They never give up. They might concede a goal, but they're going to concede a goal and keep their head up. We have players on the sideline coaching as well. We have players getting in the mud, doing the work. And that's the difference between boys and men. Boys to men. Now, Camavinga, I want to shout on the top of my head, from the top of my voice. I want to shout to the top of my voice. I need him to start in the final. Carlo, again, you have my number, call me. I'll tell you the secret. Start Camavinga. I get why he hasn't been starting. Game management, you want to ensure that he's not being overused. I see a lot of other teenagers get praised for, oh, he played a 90 minutes and run 120 kilometers. That's not the point. That is not the point. You can't, that's called child labor. You're overworking these children. Allow them to seep into the team. Allow them to get the feel of the game and then come in. But Carlo, you're pushing it. I mean, Tony Cruz is on his last leg. Casemiro is a walking red flag. You need youth and athleticism, and I get that that's what he's doing. Allow Tony and Casemiro to go out there, run up and down, get tired, bust 2 kneecaps, and then you bring in that super young and talented. And it works like gold every time. There's a meme that he's always, giving him the minutes of the savior moments, and he comes through, and this is what separates world class from good players. He comes in, he's bossing these midfields, he's directing the play, he's assisting, he's pre-assist, he's doing amazing. I think it's the best thing for him to choose Real Madrid that young in his career. He's already won his first La Liga title, about to win a Champions League. Like, it cannot get any more. As I said, he has to start in the final though. If he doesn't start, they lose. If he starts, win. The meme about Carlo being confused for 90 minutes and then his team, like, he's confused and then he raises his eyebrow and his team starts to win. That can be used as a tactic. It's funny. And it's funny as a meme and it's funny as a running joke. But we've seen it so many times this season where he has been out of it. He has lost ideas. So as I said, I've been having technical difficulties and the camera shut down and I lost the files of the video. So the video is practically done. But here are my previous videos. Go check those out, see what they're all about. Like, share, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, tell every other person you know. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching my channel. I appreciate it so much.